2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Let's go.
To a Tuesday edition of KuCoin. This is AZcrypto with MrFOMO. Even though the market is down, we will try to keep you up. Please hit that like button. Please subscribe. Making this channel stronger, like this one, will only help crypto, guys. So let's try to move forward, even though the market is a bit red. And we got a project that I think in the long term is going to do very well, and that's Polkadot. Polkadot, if you don't know, is available on every single major exchange. And you can get yield on Polkadot using something like Voyager, as much as 12%. So Polkadot is a very valuable ecosystem. Gavin Wood is the founder. It's had some nice runs, and over $40 at one point earlier last year, late in the fall. And what I like about Polkadot is when BTC does run, MrFOMO, it does do pretty well. Now, on the flip side, when BTC is struggling like it is now, it also struggles. For the month, it's down 20.6%, which is not awful compared to some of the other coins. But for the year, from the 55, sorry, I misspoke, talked about the 40s, our 55 high, which was in November, we're down from there about 44%. So we're down pretty well from the all-time high. However, at a market cap of 19 billion for a project this big, that's actually not too bad. It sounds really high, but I think this project could easily get to 100 billion market cap, in the next run. So it's an interesting token. Tell our viewers what you think about Polkadot.
I love Polkadot, and I think it's a blue chip. And I think if you're still looking for cryptos to put your money into right now, and if you've got some money on the side looking for an entry point, I think DOT in the mid-teens is probably a really good entry point. Plus, if you're using something like Voyager, you're going to get 12% on your money. So, I mean, you're not exactly beating inflation because DOT is technically an inflationary token. They do have a burn built into their treasury mechanism. So you'll hear some people say that they have an inflationary rate of 11%, which isn't true. It's closer to 7 or 8%. And so with the 12%, say you're getting on Voyager, or say if you wanted to be a nominator or a validator and earn that 14 or 15%, you've got to pony up some dough. But to me, this is as risk off as maybe a crypto can get because of the return that you're able to get, or the APR that you're able to get through a place like Voyager. What I thought was interesting about DOT was, first of all, the construction of the chain and the parachains that are linked to it. And they've got 100 parachains, and that's the limit. But they auction those parachains off. Parachains can be split down. You can have parathreads, which are more pay-as-you-go, people who are coming to use the least parachain. And then you have common good parachains, which are off the main relay chain to give that main relay chain more capacity and functionality. But those handle the crucial functions. So even the crucial functions are handled off the main chain so that the relay chain is much faster. But there's also bridges built in on those ends that allows it to be interoperable with other chains. And I mean, any of our viewers, we always talk about interoperability. It's one of the reasons we like Cosmos so much. It's one of the reasons when we look at new tokens, it's one of those things that we really love to see in them. And so that is a big, big deal to me, is the interoperability. Again, I said that they're inflationary a little bit, so I'm not crazy about the tokenomics in that way, but their token is important to their ecosystem. In order to transact, in order to develop, in order to stake, you've got to use DOT. So that makes it important. I would have thought, based on the news articles that I was reading in the last couple of days, that, and I even look at Vandapoppy a little bit. I'm sure I'm saying that right. And he said DOT had a $17 base. We're right now we're looking at a DOT in the mid 16s. So according to some of the top analysts in the crypto market, this is a good entry point for DOT. You and I both saw it earlier or in mid last year, somewhere around $10.
Summertime when everything was down.
Right.
The 52-week low was 1037.
Yeah, I mean, not to be too negative on it, but the high is also 55. So there is room to grow there, but we are closer to the bottom than maybe we are to the top. So that maybe lets you know that this is, again, a good entry point. Again, you're earning 12%. As far as total value locked, you know, it's a 14th ranked crypto according to CoinMarketCap. So you would expect a lot of value, but it's actually number 80 according to DeFi Llama in total value locked. But that's deceiving, because parachains are the only ones that actually have to stake their tokens. If you wanted to be a parathread, you can downgrade and then you don't have to stake your tokens. And so people or companies will do that in order to gain the liquidity of their tokens. And also, if you don't need the full throughput of this ecosystem, you don't necessarily need to be a parachain. You're probably better off being a parathread. So that TVL is deceiving because of the construction of this chain. And this is actually, they call it nominating proof of stake. This, to me, looks like a cross between a regular blockchain, you know, that consensus mechanism, but then it looks almost like HBAR and their hash graph with the nominating system, where they're sending the transactions to nominators and then off to the relay chain. It's really interesting how it's built. And the more I dug into it, the more I fell in love with the construction of it, the interoperability. There's just not much not to like here. And like I said, it's at a good entry point and you're getting a lot of APR.
Yeah, so basically, if you don't know the history of Ethereum, the founders of Ethereum, we have Charles, who made Cardano, then we have Mr. Gavin Wood that created Polkadot. So it's kind of like ETH was the grandfather, and Cardano and Polkadot are the kids. Well, I should say the father, then the kids. There's next generation will be the grandchildren, but you know, DOT was one that I saw a lot of people predicting if we had a top off that was going to hit 200, and then I saw some people saying, well, conservatively 100, 100's going to get. It never got there, right? And again, but I think these predictions are way more accurate for 2024, 2025. So if we did see, no one wants to see this, but if we did see another slump, and over the summer you could pick up DOT at 10, wow, that would be an amazing pickup, because you're probably talking about a 10 to 20x while you're earning 12% over the next couple of years. So me personally, I would say if I'm going to buy this, I'll say yes. However, for caveat, I'm not putting a lot in right now, because I do not know if I don't know if 16 is really the bottom. We got to be honest with our viewers. I think even though 10 is unlikely, it's not unrealistic if BTC keeps struggling to break 40 to 48 all year during the summer and the fall. DOT could slowly work its way down to the $10, $11. So what I'm doing, I'm in DOT already, but if I was not in DOT, I would slowly put my toes in the water. And the lower it got, if we did hit 14, 13, 12, I would add more. Pretty confident the 10 is probably going to be our low. I can't see it going below 10. It may not get to 10. 15, 14 might be the bottom. But I think you got, if you're new, this is a great time to come into crypto, because you can slowly put your money in. You're not going to make a lot of money overnight unless you catch fire with something like KNC or Ape. But there are so few projects doing that. And, some people have gotten lucky and they've claimed they knew it all along. It's just, they're probably lying to you. But I like going in slowly here. I don't like putting a ton of money in today, because of the BTC market and BTC. We really unfortunately have to say we were wrong about April, unless things drastically change over the next 4 days. April was not a good month, so we got to be honest with our viewers. We didn't get it right. So, like I said, I would go in slowly. I don't see this thing going parabolic until BTC runs. So, like I said before, the important to understand about DOT, when BTC is doing well, DOT really follows very well. But it's not one of the coins that's going to win when BTC is down. What's your feeling about buying, Mr. FOMO? What's your feeling about buying?
I think that I would actually take the same strategy as you. I would dip my toe in a little bit if I was planning on buying DOT, and I may actually get back into DOT now that we're back at this level. But slowly, remember, this is futures week. Friday could see us go down. We're also coming up on May. We've talked about it before as the Halloween indicator, which sounds scary.
But I'll say this, because I mean, it's December was supposed to be great and April was supposed to be great and they weren't. It's possible we could get a little bit of a bounce in May. I'm just saying.
But I just like to prepare our viewers that with that is,
I'm not saying it's likely, but
even in the stock market, that's something that's tried and true is go away in May and stay away until September, October. That's why it's called the Halloween indicator. So these are uncharted waters that we're hitting right now. I think we've talked about it before that maybe the BTC cycles are a bit broken. You've talked about it being a friendly bear.
Not as friendly today.
Yes, it's not as friendly today as
or yesterday.
Again, this could turn around after Friday or even before Friday, depending on what the futures numbers look like. But again, when you look around the market and you see these things crashing, remember, when the blood is in the streets, that's when people are making money. That's one of the reasons why we started building this channel when we did, because we're building it during the tough times. We get a following now. We're going to gain a lot of momentum when we get to the bull market. The same thing with your portfolio. Start building slowly now. Dip your toe into those projects that you've really done your research and you like a lot. Those algos, those H bars, those Polkadots, the ones that we've been telling you about, the VGXs, the Lunas. These are the projects that maybe you want to DCA into while the market is down. And that's when it's going to pay off in the bull market, is when you do this work now. You put in the hard work now when it's not great and when it's not paying off. And then you can dump on the people 2 years from now when they're FOMOing in, when it's all over the news and you've made your money.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's important to understand is right now, it's not looking like we're going to have a great run anytime soon. I mean, it could change. There could be some great news about BTC. Things could change. We never could get over 48. And so we got to establish ourselves over 40 and stay over 40 to really get that momentum. And Luna buying BTC is not going to be enough. An ETF could help. But again, and unfortunately, the Ethereum update has been delayed from the summer. It's not happening in June. We're hoping that was kind of going to lead us into.
I was shocked when I heard people saying that the Ethereum update was coming in June.
Well, they were the ones that announced it was going to be in June. So
I had heard since the beginning of the year that you could almost count on that being till next year. And so
Ethereum itself was trying to do it in June. Now, if they can get it in September, guys, we could have a nice August leading up to September, and that could be that. No, I mean, I think an ETH. I think ETH could lead us back into the high 40s and maybe low 50s one more time before the end of the year. So if you're down on some coins, it would be a nice exit, then get back in 2023. But if you're brand new, again, I think these are great times to kind of get your feet wet, get in some positions, slowly DCA as time goes on in 2024, 2025, really take advantage and make some, hopefully some life-changing money. So guys, stay with us. This is just the beginning. Even though things might look down now, we're headed. Eventually, things are going to turn around. There's no way around.
This year, when it's down, I think you're going to see something major happen. I think you'll see a major economy, a major country is going to dip their toes into crypto, and that's going to spark something. But I think it's going to take something major like that. I don't think, especially with all the uncertainty, like we talked about before the show, the market despises uncertainty, and that's all we've got all over the world right now. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, people are now able to buy Bitcoin for the first time as life's in terms of 401k. So, small news. It's just it's we're not right. We don't have the big catalyst just yet. So hopefully we do get something either the summer or the fall. So guys, stay in there. We have a very exciting episode coming up on Thursday. We're gonna get creative. It may be a flip or it may not be a flip. We have to wait to find out. For Mr. FOMO, this is AZ Crypto. Have a wonderful couple days, everybody.
See ya.